Goldfinger Palmer's widow says she has given up hope of justice. The widow of notorious British gangster John Goldfinger Palmer has criticized police for failing to find her husband's gangland murderer. Marnie Palmer, who was married to the underworld kingpin for 40 years, said fundamental police mistakes meant she had given up hope that his killer would be brought to justice. "I have given up hope that the case will be solved. So much of what we have been told by Essex police has been hogwash," she told The Telegraph. John Palmer, infamous for melting down bullion from the 1983 Brink's-Mat gold heist, was stalked for hours before he was killed on June 24, 2015. His assassin was a lone hitman who drilled a hole in a fence and then jumped over it, firing 6 bullets from a .32 caliber silenced revolver. Mrs. Palmer, who stayed married to her criminal husband despite him keeping numerous lovers, has launched a scathing attack on the police investigation into Palmer's death after initial probes mistook his bullet hole injuries for surgery scars. Mrs. Palmer believed police, who questioned only 2 of his associates, should have kept a better eye on Palmer and his potential enemies. She said, "The scene of the murder was simply too convenient. John was found in the only spot where he had not installed CCTV. And where were his dogs? It was virtually unheard of for him to keep them inside. The police were watching his every move in the months before he died. They really should have known more about his activities, his associates and his potential enemies, yet officers are completely lost at sea." In a new book, Goldfinger and Me, Bullion and Betrayal, Mrs. Palmer has insisted that Palmer did not know the gold bars he was melting down had come from Brink's-Mat. Dubbed the crime of the century, the Brink's-Mat robbery saw £26 million worth of gold bullion, diamonds and cash stolen from a warehouse on the Heathrow International Trading Estate. In 1987 Palmer got away with his crimes nonetheless, sparking a bravery that bolstered the rest of his criminal career. By the 90s he was richer than the Queen, as the Sunday Times Rich List reported he was worth £300 million. But a life of luxuriating on private jets and yachts came crashing down around him as police realized he had duped at least 17,000 timeshare victims. Palmer's underworld network was made up of 122 companies, with many working out of offshore tax havens in the Madeira, the British Virgin Islands and the Isle of Man. He was convicted of fraud in 2001 and was made bankrupt, one of the biggest bankruptcy orders in history. Despite having tight security around him at all times, Mrs. Palmer said she had started to worry that his security detail had been scaled back in the last 4 years of his life. Despite upping the reward for information about his murderer to £100,000 last month, she said, "There's more chance of Lord Lucan showing up than of police finding my John's assassin."